A lot of people think the SUV is a relatively new invention because they're associated with things like the BMW X5 that's only been around since 1999. But the history of the SUV goes back almost 80 years to the original Chevy Suburban. And so because it's been around for so long, I was a little bit skeptical when I read Lexus's claim that they were the first to have a luxury SUV. My suspicion was backed up by the fact that the original Range Rover was released in 1970. But then again, maybe the term luxury has moved on a bit, and what might have been considered swanky back then would be considered positively medieval these days. Whatever side of the argument fence you sit on, what we have here is no ordinary RX350. This is the special edition. If you look carefully, you'll see there's nothing special about the styling. And I don't mean that because it's uninteresting or unattractive, it just looks pretty much the same as any other RX. The entire range has recently undergone an update and now features new wheels and a new front end, and Lexus has stayed away from the typically boxy SUV shape in favor of something that is a lot more slick. I'd never really appreciated the look of this thing until I'd spent a bit of time with it. It's not universally popular, but it certainly has its own take on the SUV way of things, and even looks different to other members of its own family, which these days is a rarity. Its pearl white paint job and blacked out rear glass combine fantastically with a slippery profile to ensure the RX stands out amongst the many 4x4s, crossovers and soft-roaders in our traffic. Included on this version of the RX are active headlights that swivel with the steering to help with cornering at night. Most of the special in Special Edition can be found in here, including the bamboo inserts, which means for once in a Toyota product, there is actually real wood. There are some fairly useless bits like the illuminated door sills, but also some useful parts like a head-up display and electric steering wheel adjustment. To be honest, there's not a lot they could have added in here due to Lexus's insistence of fitting just about everything as standard. Heated and ventilated electric seats, keyless operation, connectivity to just about everything that can be connected, a panoramic roof, automated tailgate, reversing camera, it's all here. Although that last item has been augmented by a side view camera system. One of the highlights is the Mark Levinson sound system, which is one of the better high-end in-car sound systems available. Space is typical of an SUV, as is the versatility. The full RX lineup has a choice of 3 engines, including a hybrid, but if you want the special edition, you have to go with this, the 3.5-litre V6 petrol. 202 kilowatts, 346 newton meters, a 0 to 100 time of 8 seconds, and a combined cycle fuel consumption figure of 10.2 litres per 100 kilometers. Although its exact performance is a little hard to substantiate. Not because we had a limited amount of time with the car or because we weren't concentrating while driving it, but because of the lack of running in. Ordinarily, test cars arrive at RPM HQ with at least 1,500 kilometers on the clock, which means they've had a chance to be run in a bit. But the RX... 815 kilometers, 400 of which have been done by me. So that means there hasn't been a lot of running in time. You can feel there's decent low-down shove, but the whole thing just feels so tight. Even the brakes feel like they need more bedding in because there's just no initial bite. With such low mileage, it's kind of difficult to make a call on how good or how not good this whole setup is. The V6 RX is fitted with a 6-speed automatic gearbox. No paddles on the steering wheel, just an old-school sport-style shift on the gear lever. All-wheel drive is standard and there is a lockable center diff, although I'm assuming that's there for show, because I'm not sure anybody is going to treat their 724,000 Rand pearl white special edition Lexus to any sort of situation that requires a center diff lock. And that's quite okay because this car just never feels like it wants to work hard. Say what you want about Lexus having the first luxury SUV or not, but by today's standards they've done a pretty good job. From the best seats in the business to all the easy interactions, the RX350 basically out-luxuries anything else at the price. To borrow a word from the press release, it's buttery, smooth and soft. It's not perfect, the suspension will make sure you feel harder bumps, but as far as a relaxing, easy drive in a big car goes, the RX is right up there. If you're in this end of the market for a new SUV, no doubt you've been tempted by offerings from BMW, Audi and Mercedes-Benz, all of whom offer less spec for more money. In fact, the only thing that comes close to this car is that other Japanese brand, Infiniti, with their diesel QX70. Once again, Lexus have crammed huge value into one of their cars, and the RX350 has the space, the spec and the comfortable drive, all for a lot less than you'd expect. The 3.5-litre petrol motor looks decent on paper, however a lack of running in on our test car meant we weren't able to give it a proper appraisal. The 6-speed auto does a good job though. The added extras to the special edition now mean even more value for the RX350. It's not the ultimate in SUVs, but it offers a smooth, comfortable drive.